So, True Detective is a critically acclaimed television series that has gained attention for its unique narrative style, likable characters, and overall theme. True Detective premiered in 2014 on HBO and quickly gained a reputation as a top TV show. Created by Nick Pizzotti, the show features a non-linear narrative structure that weaves together multiple timelines and perspectives. The first season stars Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson as the two detective investigating ritualistic murders of Louisiana. Other seasons feature different storylines and characters, but keep the show's original storyline. So, gender roles and stereotypes present in True Detective reinforce harmful societal norms by perpetuating outdated ideas about masculinity and femininity, and by limiting the roles available to women. Throughout the portrayal of its main characters, True Detective challenges traditional gender roles and stereotypes, ultimately highlighting the negative consequences of gender expectations on individuals and society as a whole. So, throughout the show, the directors use a lot of contrast lighting, camera angles to emphasize the conflicting natures of the characters. So, in like the more dark scenes, they will use more dark lighting, natural dark lighting. They will use contrast. If someone's like coming up to someone talking, they'll use shadows to highlight the importance of each character, and they do that in order to add like suspense to the show and to really allow the viewer to feel like you're in the situation, like you're scared, and it just the lighting really and the camera angles. They do a lot of low angles, to really bring out the true like characters and like what's happening in the scene. So one of the main characters is Russ Cole, and he's very important to the show. Russ Cole, played by Matthew McConaughey, is one of the two main characters in the first two seasons of True Detective. He is deeply troubled and introspective detective who is haunted by his past and struggles with his addiction. He's highly intelligent, has a philosophical outlook on life, which often puts him at odds with his partner, Marty Hart. Despite his flaws, Russ is a highly skilled investigator and is the driving force behind the investigation and the murder of a young woman. How he reinforces harmful ideas about masculinity. So, one scene that exemplifies masculinity is in season one, episode four, where Russ and Marty engage in a heated argument about the nature of masculinity. And masculinity is a central theme in True Detective as it explores through the lens of obviously these two characters. And Russ Cole and Marty Hart embody different aspects of masculinity, with Russ representing the more stoic of the two and Marty representing the more traditional of the two. Show uses cinematography elements to highlight these shots as the Marty scene take place in more domestic settings, while Marty's are in like a different type of setting. And then in this scene, in season one, episode four, where Russ and Marty engage in a heated argument about the nature of masculinity, in this scene, Russ challenges Marty's beliefs about what it means to be a man, highlighting the pressures that shape male behavior. The scene is shot in a close-up, intimate way, emphasizing the emotional intensity of the conversation, allowing the viewers to feel personal, like a more personal connection. With Russ, his masculinity is contrast with femininity of his partner, Marty Hart. Marty Hart, played by Woody Harrelson, is the other main character in the first season of True Detective. He's more traditional detective than his partner, Russ Cole, and is often frustrated by Russ on conventional methods. Martin is a family man who struggles to balance his work and personal life, and his marriage is strained by his identity. As the investigation into the murders of a young woman progresses, Martin becomes increasingly disillusional with the police department and his own role in the case. How he reinforces harmful ideas about masculinity. Marty is emotional, vulnerable, seen as soft, and often struggles to balance his family life. One, oh shit. One critic states that the part of responsibility as a father is he understands it is to bring any of his emotional baggage home to identity. So in the show, you can really see how he struggles with this, and it's not often for like men in the show to like battle with that stuff. So it's interesting that they put that in. It's really important to the show. So another issue with the show is the portrayal of women. True Detectives limits the roles available to women and often puts them in unfair situations. Female characters are often relegated to the role of a victim or the object of male desire. As a result, the show has been criticized for its limited representation of women, with some arguing it reinforces harmful stereotypes and tropes. An example in the show is in season one, where oftentimes the women are either victims of violence or sexual objects for male characters. In addition, the show's cinematography often sexualizes women's bodies, with many scenes featuring close ups of women's cleavage or legs. This representation of women reinforces harmful gender stereotypes and objectifies women. Many people who watch it do not take the woman seriously as they should, as they are constantly viewed as like sexual objects, which is just not true, and it's a dangerous in the show. Harmful ideas about sexual violence. So in the show with the character Dory Lang, True Detective perpetrates harmful ideas about sexual violence and has been criticized for displaying dangerous ideas about sexual violence. Sexual violence is a very touchy subject, and the producers have to walk a fine line on what's allowed and what is deemed to be too much. The show often takes women as victims of sexual assault and violence, which reinforces certain harmful stereotypes about sexual violence that are dangerous to society. And so, with the storyline involving Dora Lang, an example, Dory is a young woman who was brutally murdered. Throughout the investigation, the show depicts Dora as a promiscuous woman involved in prostitution and drug use. She's not given a fair portrayal, and from the beginning is viewed as an outcast. The portrayal contributes to victim blaming by suggesting that Dora's lifestyle somehow led to her murder. Of the show, she was partially responsible for her victimization. And so, like, this has been going on in many shows. Obviously, gender roles and stereotypes. It's something that has been going on for years, and in a lot of the new shows now, they're kind of steering away from this as it's just like it's not a good representation of the producers and what they're trying to do. So, like in the past, we saw a lot more of it, but I think now people are starting to steer away from these dangerous stereotypes as they know they can be harmful to many people and cause like a lot of problems that are just not needed. So to wrap it all up, I really enjoyed, True Detective. I thought it was a good show. It had a lot of obviously it had a lot of issues with it, but overall, many people liked it. It did really well in the ratings, and I think like the portrayal of gender roles and stereotypes. Yeah, it's like not a great subject, but it's part of kind of what made the show like special and what it is. But in the end, I think the entertainment industry is responsible for ensuring that the media produces reflects a diverse and inclusive society. The gender role and stereotype in True Detective reinforces harmful societal norms by showing outdated ideas about masculinity and femininity and limiting the roles available to women. These issues are not unique to the show, but are common in popular culture and have real world consequences. We must continue to examine the media we consume and to continue to, you know, to see what's wrong and what's right in the shows.